Hello, everybody. It's me. Here I am clocking into the Amberlynn Reid, Hans Christian Pookie Reid factory yet again. So in today's video, we have Amber's Aunt Tammy speaking out on her community page and releasing more text messages from Hans Christian Pookie Reid. It's a wonderful time to be alive. I feel like a girl of 2021 again. Everything I'm saying is just for entertainment purposes only. Nothing is meant to be taken seriously. I'm sharing opinions, not facts, and publicly accessible information, first made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels and leave mean-spirited, negative, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only. Amber also is such a brave soul that she decided to cancel her live stream with very little notice. Does the fun ever start? Apparently it did. Here is what Aunt Tammy said on her community page, and then afterwards we're going to look at the messages from Amber. Tammy Robertson, 10 hours ago. For those of you looking for her channel, I'll link it down below. I have plenty more receipts showing years of mental mistreatment from her. Recent texts where she excluded me after she got here. We text about it. We text in October when she needed something. We text in November when she wanted something. Some in December over being sick, and Christmas, nothing in January. But then the pictures in February where I hearted it. By then I was done. Amber made a giant deal about how dare when she sent her aunt a picture of them together, the aunt only hearted it instead of responding to it. She did pick sides. This is in reference to Amber saying she never picked sides between her mother and her aunt. And by the way, it's obvious that you're on your mom's side, Pookie. Just like it's okay to be on your mom's side. I just want to say, I haven't really heard anybody say this. It's okay to pick your chauffeur's side. I get it. You need her to go everywhere, whatever. Just what is the point of lying about it? Say, yeah, I picked my mom's side. I don't like my aunt. And rinse, lather, Kermit, repeat. She never reached out and asked to spend time together, only when she wanted something. Yeah. Amber only has relationships with people when she can get something out of it. She said that on a voice note that Alexis released. She's only interested in situations where she can get something out of it. She knew my sister and I were having problems. Didn't even know if she knew the real reason why. Days turned into weeks, into months, into done. I have done my part for so long, just wanted them to finally do theirs. And then she wrote, hope has clouded my vision for so long. Now that all hope has been put to rest, I'm beginning to see with clarity. I don't think that you need Amberlynn Reid in your life. She is not just a pathological deceiver and a schemer. She hasn't shown you any respect. The things that she has said that you've done to her are nothing. Leaving Amber, an 18-year-old Amber alone in an apartment, kicking out Amber's mother, who was at that point, like her mother was doing unsafe things. Yeah, she did the right thing by not wanting what your mom was doing around her children. Amber, get a real job. And Aunt Tammy, please start spilling real wild tea. So let's just take a look at Amber's text messages. Right here are these messages. I'm excited to see you. I have a lot going on too, but I will make time for us to catch up. So this is what Tammy is saying to Amber. We will definitely make time to catch up. The movers are actually here right now, 3rd, 2023, or whatever this is in October. Oh, wow. Really, really real. And getting adjusted. Family situations, what's wrong? I'm definitely trying to get adjusted. It's been a long time coming, so building this relationship with my mom has been really nice. I want to see you soon. I want to see you too, but I was told I can only see you with your mom, and I felt very excluded. I'm glad you're getting time with your mom and getting adjusted. Those are the messages. All right. Somebody has to say it. It's going to be me. This is not tea or drama or gossip. Tammy, this is my opinion. I think that Aunt Tammy doesn't look, people that don't work in this industry may not know how this industry works. Follow me for more pointless advice. The point is, we want drama. We want tea. Tammy is saying she has a lot of messages that are showing you that she's mistreating the aunt. Dear Aunt Tammy, please release the ones where she's mistreating you. What does this prove? That you guys have spoken, even though Amber says that you haven't? Okay, she's a lie. Girl, you a lie. Okay. Basically, I guess this proves that the aunt was told that she can only see her when the mother's around, when Amber's mother's around. Okay. So this does show that the aunt told Amber that there's like family situations and that they've been speaking. So I guess the point of this is that in 2023 they were speaking. Okay. Whatever, that Amber needed something. So here's the bottom line. This is my advice to Aunt Tammy. Please release the tea. Okay, release the tea. This is not per se tea. This is just showing you that you have been speaking to your aunt from 2023, 2024, whatever. Honestly, you know when they say the best defense is a good offense? I don't know what that means because I don't play football. But what I do know is that if you beat her to the T, if you release the T first, she's going to have to answer it. If she releases the T first, which I don't think she has any T on her hand, then she won't have as much, like the thing is this, the only thing Amber has said is, oh, my aunt, one of her kids doesn't talk to her. Okay, you didn't talk to your mom either. Anyways, Amber needs to stop being afraid of the promises that she's made to her audience and start treating her audience better. That's never going to happen. And Amber, you're obviously afraid to go live with your aunt. That's why you canceled your live stream. More on that in a few minutes. And the aunt needs to drop all the receipts. Drop all the receipts. Go on your channel, go on Jordy's channel, go on anybody's channel. Do not go on Amber's. So Amber canceled her live and said, can't go live. See you later. Hans Christian Pookie Reid. So this is incredibly inappropriate and you should lose all of your members for this. You are scamming your audience. They are paying either $5 a month or $10 a month for you to go live every Tuesday and every Sunday. I personally want to make this very clear. I'm very happy that she doesn't go live because I do not care for her streams. I think that if you want to lie and get paid for it, you probably belong in different branches of never mind. The point is that I cannot even believe that you would behave yourself this way. So I want to bring your attention to something. If you've been watching my videos, when she used to do members only lives that most people couldn't consume because they were under a paywall, not like they are right now. And she would cancel, she would say, I apologize, I'm so sorry, I'm definitely going to make this up to you. She was super, super, super nicey. And she was saying, unfortunately, something has come up and I'm going to do better next time, like being, quite frankly, obviously falsely, but being polite. Like she was, all smoke and mirrors, but she was at least trying to be polite because that wasn't the real her. Now listen. In the beginning of her going live for members only, she made a big deal about how people don't trust her. People have a bad relationship with her and she wants to change that. And she wants people to really be able to trust her and all that. The issue is that when she was acting all polite with her viewers, she was still scamming her viewers. She was still not showing up sometimes, but at least she was putting out sentences that were polite. That's all I could say. She was speaking to people in a rather polite way, at least in the community page post. She was her real self in the members only live. She would yell at people, she would scream at people, but at least she was pretending to be polite. The mask is off, okay? That's the real her. She can't go live, see you later. Not, unfortunately, something has come up. I apologize to my members who are paying. You deserve for people to cancel all of your memberships. You are scamming your members. And if I was paying for a membership, I'm personally not paying for a membership, and I want to, because somebody bought me a membership, somebody gifted me a membership on one of the streams. I just want to say this. I am not telling anybody to report her. I'm not allowed to tell you to report her based on the TOS, so please don't report her. I'm just giving an opinion about what I would do. If I was paying for her members only live streams, I would 100% go ahead and go to cancel. And then they prompt you there when you're going to cancel and they ask you what's going on. And I would tell YouTube that you are scamming your audience. This is not okay. The way that you speak to people is not okay. This is a breach in contract. It is a breach in contract. And for the billionth time, I know whenever I say this, some people get very mad. It really prompts me to say it again. This is no meeting of the minds in the contract. People think They are coming to see you Tuesdays and Sundays. You are not giving them that because people can't agree on what's actually happening. If you promise them something and you don't deliver it, they need to cancel. Breach of contract, no meeting of the Kermits. That's it. By the way, has anyone ever thought about how amazing it'd be if a bunch of Kermits had a meeting about Hans Christian Pookie Reed? So I think the way that you spoke to people is inappropriate. I think that you clearly don't care about your members. Why is she doing this? That's the real her. The truth is, this is exactly who Hans Christian Pookie Reed is. People always ask me, why do you call her Hans Christian Amberlynn? Hans Christian Andersen was a fairy tale author. Nobody tells fairy tales, and in Amber's case, lies better than Amberlynn Reid. A true storyteller, only of boring stuff that was on page 75 of This Definitely Never Happened magazine. My point here is this. The inappropriate and rude way that she spoke to her audience, she said this after her aunt like posted all this stuff that we just discussed, and she's not even giving people ample warning. Pookie, do you need a blankie? Maybe mommy can take you this weekend shopping and you can buy a new blankie. Here's the thing. She's afraid to go live with her aunt, even though she suggested it, right? And when the aunt is starting to expose all the text, now here's the thing, Amber has all the text too, but she is too scared to go live. This is very inappropriate. The people that are, really paying you that genuinely enjoy your content. By the way, this is the time for me to say this. Whenever I say this, people are like, come on, who cares about who enjoys her content? Nobody enjoys her content. There's quite a bit of people that defend her and enjoy her content, especially whenever a family member comes out and explains that she's exactly who we all thought she was, especially as evidenced by all of her, I can't do the voice all the time, by her exes. Look, bottom line, Pookie Reed, your behavior is incredibly disingenuous. What's also going on is two things. So obviously she's afraid to do the live stream with her aunt because she doesn't know, listen, she doesn't know what her aunt will say. And at least if the aunt is talking to Jordy, oh lordy, it's Kermie, oh lordy, it's Jordy on his channel, Amber could ignore what she's saying. But if she comes on her channel, if Aunt Tammy comes on Amber's channel, well then what is Amber going to do? She can't just ignore what Tammy is saying. I mean, I guess she plans to. So you're all talk and no Kermit. That's what you are, Pookie Reed. All talk and no Kermit. She's too afraid to do this live stream that she suggested she would do. Also, I'm not going to be accepting my undiagnosed BPD. Stuff your excuses. I had a soul-crushing event happen. My mom's sobriety is all that matters to me. Speaking of your mom's sobriety, remember that you said it was very important that nobody get married on the day that your mom got sober? Again, getting sober is fantastic. I'm all for it. And I think that day needs to be celebrated as a rebirth and as the day that you really did something amazing for yourself. Please don't get me wrong. But remember how Pookie Reed said that mommy got sober that day, so no one else is allowed to get married. How dare her aunt get married on that day? Never mind that the aunt got married on the anniversary of her own dating of her husband. They had met that day, but that's not the point. Somebody pointed this out in the comment section, and I cannot unsee it, unhear it. You know where Hans Christian Pookie Reed was this past November 1st? Was she celebrating her mom's sobriety with her? No, she was at... She was at her ex-girlfriend's house being miserable. Imagine being miserable in Wisconsin and letting out the door open for the cat and whatever instead of, in my opinion, being celebrating there in Oklahoma with your mom for her sobriety. So your aunt is not allowed to get married on the same day that your mom got sober, but you're allowed to completely abandon your mother for some girl that kicked you out of the house. You lost rarity because of you being in Wisconsin. You weren't there for your mommy's sobriety date. I don't know. I'm feeling a new blankie coming on. I'm telling you. One of these days, she's going to come on with a new blankie. I hope you get a new blankie, Pookie. Anyways, the point is that Amber is too afraid to go on live with her aunt. And the second issue is that I don't know if whenever I talk about this, people don't want to believe me. Y'all can believe whatever you want. The people don't believe me. She has made a very large amount of money so far, larger than every other month. She has made, if only I could tell you how much these views, I have told you before, If you're getting 100,000 views, 60,000 views, 80,000 views fast, it's thousands of dollars. It's not just 1,000. It's like 2 to 4. It depends on, what happened during your video and what's your CPM. But I'm telling you, she's made so much money. So she doesn't need to come live. The only problem, Hans Christian Pookie Reid, is that you have contract with your audience. They are paying you in exchange for you showing up. Imagine super chats, the money from the live streams as videos, and the money from the memberships. And the memberships no doubt went up when this drama went up. So Amber, this is your typical behavior. The only positive thing that I can say here is that Amber definitely is now being herself by making this rude comment. Can't go live. Told you a few minutes after I was supposed to go live. See you later. Yeah, she's just scared that her aunt is going to release more DMs. At least no more smoke and mirrors, the real you. Let's take a look what her audience has to say. Wow, what a horrible way to treat the people who support you as members. Yes, this is a deplorable way to treat the people that support you, Amber. Forget about the people that don't support you, the people that genuinely want to be there. By the way, whenever I say this, sometimes somebody comes here and says, but they should know anyways. They're not going to care anyways. No, this is wrong. When something is morally wrong, it's okay to say so. This is a terrible way to treat you as a member if you genuinely like her. Here's somebody that might be watching my channel. Hans Christian Amberlynn, everyone. Sorry, not really. I'm in my evil Kermit era. Let's see what else people are saying. Don't worry, we expected this from you. Facts. This just confirms that Aunt Tammy was telling the truth. Yikes on bikes. Another interesting statement that could be true. I think Aunt Tammy is not lying about anything that she's saying about Amber. I just think that Aunt Tammy, if you really want to expose her, it's time to do so. The blackmail and the lying, okay. But at this point, you need to come out with the real receipts, as I already said before. If Tammy got online right now, Amber would suddenly be able to stream for hours. Bet. Never, ever, ever, ever forget that the reason that Amber goes live as Tammy is talking to Jordy is because she wants all the money from that. She's so upset that Jordy is getting paid for doing his job. I understand, Amber, it's a really weird concept to actually doing work and then getting paid. You have put in zero work. When was the last time you did a thumbnail? Has anyone noticed that she hasn't even done a thumbnail in like a month? She doesn't put thumbnails on her live streams. She doesn't care. That's how much she puts effort into her job. So she runs there to immediately go live when Jordy is with Tammy to immediately get the money herself. By the way, Amber says it's wrong to pretty much snipe people on YouTube, which isn't a thing. It's a gaming issue. But anyways, she says that it's wrong to take other people's videos and put it into hers. That's what you're doing. You're taking Jordy's content and putting into yours. This sounded really bratty. Somebody says, yeah, if you're paying for this, you deserve every cancellation. I do genuinely hope that everybody cancels your memberships. You don't deserve the money when you treat people badly. Amber at her new real job. Hey, can't come in today. Why? Oh, I just don't want to. See you later. Then cries about being fired. She couldn't handle going on a live call with Aunt Tammy. That's what I think too. One more point about this whole feud that supposedly is fueling this, which I disagree that it is. See, Amber's whole thing is this. This is the big conflict. So Amber's mommy and aunt are not talking because they had a conflict before Amber moved to Oklahoma. So look at this community page post from the aunt. Bittersweet, coming from a family that makes you feel you have to prove everything at some point or another. I save everything. In addition, it's made me a very honest person, almost to a fault, but it's easy for me to keep my story straight that way. My stories don't change depending on who I'm talking to, the good, the bad, or truth. Amber's stories definitely change all the time. She cannot get her story straight about any topic. Her stories have changed about Rarity repeatedly because she's lying. Her stories have changed about ex-wifey. They've changed about Beck. They've changed about Destiny, and they've definitely changed about Tommy, and now about Aunt Tammy because Amber is hiding something in lying. Best thing to do is just be honest. You don't have to remember anything. Okay. Here's my thing about the conflict First thing I want to say, right? Because I've had some time to think about it. Number one, so I don't believe that the reason that Amber is not talking to Aunt Tammy is just because of the conflict between her mom and Tammy. Obviously, when your best friend, your chauffeur, the whole reason that you moved to Oklahoma, mommy, is enemies, not friendly at all, not talking to her aunt, her sister, then of course this puts a damper on things. I can understand that. But I don't believe that that is the reason that Amber is not communicating with her. I definitely think that one of the reasons is she can't get anything from Aunt Tammy. Remember, she said, Aunt Tammy left me alone as an 18-year-old. They didn't have anything. I had to go do everything. Like, she wants people to do things for her, and that's how she supports them. And that's how she, like, she'll support you as a friend. She'll be nice to you. She'll only have, basically, Amber only has relationships with people if they can do something for her. At this point, Tammy can't do anything for her. I don't believe that it's just the conflict. Do I agree that it's definitely the conflict between mom and Tammy? Yes. Do I believe that's the whole thing? No. There's something that's not being said, which I'm hoping we're going to find out. And one other I consider important point. The problem in this situation is that if you look at their conflict, which if you don't know, we talked about it briefly, but you may not know, what happened is when Amber's mom was in a lot of trouble, the aunt said, when we get the house from our mother, grandma over there, right? When something happens to grandma and we get the house, grandma's house, you can have it, Amber's mom. That the aunt said that Amber's mom can have it and just pay the aunt a few $100 a month because, you know, that way Amber's mom would have a roof over her head, which was very nice. Now that the mom is in a great place, has had employment, steady employment for a long time, is no longer in any trouble, the aunt is like, you know, we need to divide it up. We need to divide the house 50-50. I'm going to be real with you, okay? I don't ever want to take Amber's mom's side, okay, at this point, because she's an enabler. I do feel that she's charismatic and people love her, but at this point, you know, something has to be said. I'm trying to put myself into the situation, and I genuinely want your opinions. Please let me know. If I was in that situation and my sister told me, you can have the house no matter what in the future, and then went back on it, I mean, I guess I would be mad. I'm trying not to be biased. I'm trying to look at it for what it is. I would also be mad if I was Amber's mom. That being said, there's only one question that I have here, because I also see the aunt side where the aunt is like, well, you can support yourself, you can provide the money now, we should just, she was doing that as a big favor to her sister, like, you know, you're in and out of houses, you can have the house so you have a roof over your head and whatever, you're not going to have to be on the streets. That I understood from the end. That was a very kind gesture. But I understand that the aunt also wants what is, you know, going to be hers, half to her, half to her sister. But this is the big question that I have, all right? Why isn't the grandmother, their mother, Amber's mom's mom and Tammy's mom, why is she not just leaving a will and making her own choice who the house goes to? Isn't that a little odd and unusual? I haven't really heard anybody say that. Maybe people have been talking about it, but I don't know. What do you think about this? Why all the conflict? The grandma, in my opinion, should leave a will saying, for example, the house goes to, half of it goes to Amber's mom, half of it goes to Tammy. Or it all goes to Amber's mom, or it all goes to Tammy. Why are they fighting over something that shouldn't even be their decision? And yes, when you make promises and you go back on your promises, sometimes the other party can be upset. You know, this is what happens. So I just think something very odd is going on in this situation, that the grandmother has, listen, I could be wrong. The grandmother could already have a will. But the point is, why would there be such a argument if this is all that this argument is about? I just don't understand why this can't be squashed with, you know, the grandma has a will and that's it. What do y'all think? But there has to be more to this. I just don't think that Amber is sitting around and not talking to her aunt just because of this. Amber, you have picked your side. It's your chauffeurs. It is what it is. But I just feel that there's something else. Obviously, the aunt holds a lot of resentment towards Amber because she lied to her, she manipulated her, she deceived her, she schemed against her, she blackmailed her. You know what I'm saying? So I just think there's more to the story than we're being told. Another thing I wanted to say is sometimes when I make videos, people say to me, why are you talking about this small thing? Why are you staying on a topic for a long time? because small things is the way that things start. Like things don't ever happen in a vacuum. Sometimes when people do small things that are bad, they lead to, larger situations. I'm going to give you an example. First of all, who remembers when Amber called the buffet a buffet? There, there's all the buffets here, and then Beck said no, it's buffet. Anyways, so there was a situation type nightmare where Amber went to the buffet with her mom. I'm not judging her. I never judge for her food. I wish her all the best with her health. One day, I hope everything works out for her. Don't judge her for it. I don't care if she went to a buffet, okay? Although I do want to call it a buffet for fun. So basically, Amber had told us this. This was not a big deal. Nobody cares. The aunt didn't know that Amber told us this and made a statement about this. She's like, oh, yeah, she's coming on there and she's going to the buffet, but really she's coming on there with a Sprite Zero. Okay, fine, whatever. Amber, when responding to this, made it seem like the aunt, this is what Amber was saying. She's like, oh, she made it seem like, oh, nobody's allowed to go to the buffet and she shamed me and she's doing all this. Listen, the aunt never said that. What happened in that situation was the aunt didn't know that Amber had told her audience that she had gone to a buffet. So the aunt thought that she could catch her out there in disingenuous behavior, showing her audience one thing, but behind the scenes going somewhere else. It's really that simple. There was not a giant, huge deal about the buffet or the buffets. I want to call my new Kermit Buffet Kermit. Anyways, the point is, Amber makes a giant deal about this when no one else did, and even the aunt didn't. Does this matter? Remember how whenever I tell you that there's a section of Amber's audience that doesn't watch reaction channels, that doesn't go and verify if what she's telling is the truth, and they just believe her no matter what she says. This is a great example. The aunt thought that she caught you in a lie, so she talked about it. She actually did not catch you in a lie. Amber told us that. The idea is that's all that it was about. She's trying to prove that you're a liar. She just didn't watch that video. She didn't know. That's it. The aunt was not trying to do a big shame-a-thon about how people shouldn't go to buffets. I'm loving that word. Somebody make a Kermit with a sign saying, I'm going to the buffet. But my point is, this is how Amber creates situations and sways the narrative when there isn't one. It was just about showing that girl, you a lie, and that's it. And that wasn't an example of Amber being a lie. I'm all for Amber, exposing Amber lies, but that was not an example of Amber being a lie. The aunt just didn't know the information that, Amber had told us that. Okay, honest mistake. Amber didn't lie about the buffet, but the way that Amber twisted it, and I'm being 100 with you. Yes, Amber absolutely did not lie about the buffet. Good for you. Who cares? But Amber twists this story to make it something more than it is. Oh, well, my aunt made a big deal about this. No, she didn't. Bottom line is we all saw what she said. Here's the thing. When you lie about the small things don't matter. So then the bigger things and the more important things in life start not mattering to people. And that's when they start lying about it. Amber, if you didn't lie to your family members, if you didn't try to blackmail a woman, your aunt, in a terrible situation with her husband, you wouldn't have had such a bad relationship with her now. And the reason that I focus on small things in my videos, so y'all know if you're wondering, is because the small things out of those, the worst things like common, they worse things grow out of smaller things. If you ignore small issues where you could be the better person, then you never get to learn how to be the better person. Okay, follow me for more pointless advice. But I'm being serious. That is why I like to focus on smaller things, because they do matter. Just because, see, that little thing that I'm talking about, the buffet, it doesn't seem like a giant big deal. But in my opinion, this is just another example of how Amber sways the audience, how she manipulates the audience, and how she continues to make stuff up. I'm going to give you another example. Recently, I had mentioned her brother and how Amber never helped her brother. And Amber hadn't been mentioning her brother in a long time. When I say she didn't help him, I believe that she didn't help him the way that she could have. I know she gave him money, but there was more things, in my opinion, that she could have done for him that she did not do. I never said she never gave him money, ever. She did give him money, but she didn't support him the way that he needed. Like maybe he needed a place to stay, or maybe I understand some people say, she shouldn't invite people into her house. She could have helped him rent an apartment. She could have done that, right? And that's what I meant. Like, yeah, you gave him a little bit of money, but you could have given him more money, for example, to get him on his feet, right? And all that other stuff. Amber starts bringing up her brother and saying, oh, I've done so much for my brother. I've done so much for my brother. Oh, yeah, I don't remember if he's younger or older, trying to explain why she doesn't remember people's names and ages. That's because she only cares about herself. This is another spinning of the narrative. Amber, if you weren't feeling guilty about the way you treated your brother, and if you hadn't heard me say it, of course, she doesn't watch any of the videos that I make, you would have never said a word about it. And that's what I'm trying to say. There's always a twisting of the narrative towards her favor. What I don't think Hans Christian Pookie Reid understands is, Amber, we understand that there's a lot of people that have problems, that they make mistakes all the time. We would accept you as you are if you just showed us who you really are, but you keep trying to twist the narrative. All right, thoughts, comments, dislikes, leave them in the comments and dislikes down below. Thank you all so very much for watching today. I appreciate your time and you being here. If you enjoyed today's video, please check out this other video that's popping up here. You may enjoy that one. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you next time. Bye.